You know, people are trash. Pure trash. I cannot stand Bill Cosby defenders, Sierra detractors, future stands. I cannot because it's always so much intellectual dishonesty. Let's talk about Bill Cosby. Bill Cosby is a rapist. He raped over 40 women, if not more. I believe it because Bill Cosby is of status. He used his status and fatherly fatherly appearance and this whole America's black father status to lure in women. I'm sorry, I got a cold. America's father status to basically lure women in to have sex with them. He drugged them, he gave them liquor without their knowledge just to have sex with them, which is rape. It's not rape where he's pinning them down and they're screaming and struggling. It's rape as if he coerced them to have sex, whether they knew it or not. It is what it is. And for people to keep making excuses and saying that it could be a lie because most of the women are white, it doesn't matter because even if they were all black women, you would still be saying that they were liars, they were gold diggers, calling them hoes and bitches because this is an anti-black misogynistic society. So you don't care about black women, you don't care about any woman. You're just using this as an excuse to just spew your hatred towards women and rape victims. I'm not going to lie, when I first heard of Bill Cosby being a colorist, being a rapist, being all of this, I didn't want to believe it. But after a while, I was like, okay, this is true because I am not surprised. So many men in Hollywood just do so many fuck shit that it's hard to trust that they are telling the truth. People are always trying to find ways to make Bill Cosby look innocent, even his lawyer, who is a woman. And someone on Twitter was like, oh, she's so good that if people were to see her actually speak on TV, they would change their mind. Yes, because lawyers don't give a fuck about ethics, okay? They don't give a fuck about the victims. They just give a fuck about winning the case and taking the money home. So I don't care about that shit. I don't care, you know? Any woman who is a lawyer can be good if she has internalized misogyny. That's how you're good at shit when you are calling a bunch of women liars because you want to protect some celebrity male who did all of this shit for 30 years, got away with it, and then when he finally turns himself in, you people are still not apt to believe that he did what he did. I hope all of those women get justice. Someone on Twitter talked about how this one woman bought a house after she was given reparations for her rape. And people were shaming her. She can do whatever the fuck she wants with that money. She can because if she wants to live in a nice condo away from people harassing her, she can. Women who were raped can do anything with their reparation money. I think that's what it's called, reparation from rape or something like that. I'm not sure. Correct me if I'm wrong. But women were given money for the trauma of their rape. And I think that's good. I think all women, all people who were raped should be given money. They should. And then again, future stands are saying that, oh, well, they both cheated on each other. It don't fucking matter because you guys want to defend someone who cheated on a woman, but then when a woman cheats, it's a big deal. And he cheated on her while she was still pregnant. So why the hell are you trying to act like Future is some loving man who wants to take care of the child when he's not taking care of his other 6 children? I don't understand. And on Facebook, they even said that Sierra never denied him rights to his child. So why are you acting like Sierra is this vindictive, vindictive bitch who is out to ruin Future's life when all this is Future being upset that he was cheated on. That no, that she was cheated on. He was upset that she cheated on her and she moved out and took the child with her. And he's mad because she's not begging for him. Sierra was right, and I bet you'll start loving me as soon as I find someone else and someone else cares about me. Black men are mad at Sierra's boo because he's someone making her happy. Black men hate anyone that makes a black woman happy if they have some sort of misogynoir tendencies. You know, black men can be misogynistic. They can be the worst offenders of anti-black misogyny. And I don't care what anyone says. I don't care if Tommy Sotomayor or Tariq Nasheed or what's that man's name from the Breakfast Club, Charlemagne. I don't care if they want to call me anti-black against black men, because I'm saying that most black men have a vendetta towards black women. And it's true. Just look at all of their videos and see how they always want to antagonize black women, always want to make black women out to be gold digging baby mama hoes. So I don't have any pity for people like Future, who is getting what he deserves because the woman he cheated on moved the fuck on. I don't have any sympathy for Bill Cosby. I want his ass to fry in fucking jail. I want him to just sit there. I want him to lose all of his fucking money. I just want everything to just fall apart. I want his whole empire to fall apart, because when Raven Simone was saying all those things about black people, you guys were ready to just throw your childhood away. Just ready to just throw your childhood away. Drove That So Raven away. Drove that little girl from the Cosby Show. What's her name? Little Olivia. You were ready to throw Little Olivia away, but you can't throw Father Heathcliff Huxtable away. You can't. You can't, because you hate women. You hate black women. You hate any type of woman, and you don't want any woman to get justice for her rape. You don't. You want men to get away with everything. You want men to get away with rape. You do. So don't sit there and tell me that, oh, well, 40 women are white and they want to ruin the black man and remember Emmett Till. Absolutely not. Because as I said, you have to take rape seriously. You do. You have to take rape seriously. I don't care if it may be a chance that the white girl is lying. I don't care. You know, we should never ever doubt a rape victim. We shouldn't. You know, that's where investigators come in, okay? That's where the police come in, okay? But as a public, we shouldn't be like, oh, well, she could be lying, you know, that's a serious offense, because you want to protect rapists. It's not even about the fact that you don't believe that he did it. It's that you believe he did it and want him to get away with it. That's all that is. That's all that is. And on Law and Order, when Mariska's character was like, you know, you can't just say that just because she's a white girl around a bunch of black men that she automatically wants to have sex with them. You can't do that, because that's still rape culture. That still is rape culture. Even though that Law and Order episode, damn, I'm talking so fast. But even though that Law and Order episode was problematic, when Mariska was like, oh, you're playing the race card and you got a rapist off and blah blah blah, I was like, okay. But then again, I understand where she is coming from. You can't just sit there and bring up race and bring up this just because someone happens to be a white girl and the other one happens to be black, and the black man is an accused rapist. Because, you know, I'm not going to say there aren't cases where white women want to get black men in trouble and want to use their status to ruin blackness or something like that, but very few, very few. So I don't care if all these women are white. At the end of the day, 40 women came clean. Even if only one woman came clean, I would have still believed her, because I don't want to ever doubt a rape victim's experience. I don't. I think it's despicable. I think it's despicable to doubt a rape victim. That felt good. Anyway, I want to bring up conditioned responses. On Tumblr, we've been talking about the mixed identity and how we identify as when it comes to being mixed race. For instance, I can easily say I'm Afro-Cherokee, but because of colorism, I'm afraid people are going to come for my hair texture, they're going to come for my phenotype, my skin tone, and say, well, you're not really Cherokee. All you black people want to claim Cherokee because you don't know anything about the Cherokee tribe. You know, you just know about the Cherokee tribe as a name, but you don't know anything about it, because that's the only thing you know. You don't know anything else about Native American history. So, you know, why the hell are you trying to claim Cherokee tribes? But you don't even understand that most black people of that time period integrated with the Cherokee tribe. There were over 1,800 African slaves in the Cherokee tribe, so it makes sense that most Afro natives would be Cherokees or some type of Cherokee. But I don't really identify as that, and both of my parents are black. My mom is a black woman, and my dad is a black man of Afro Cherokee roots. My dad is very dark skinned. He has nappy hair. He, he looks black. He has the look where people no doubt believe that he is black. There are plenty of dark skinned mixed people, but I want to talk about how Logic, the rapper, was accused of lying about his ethnicity because he looks white. He is biracial, his dad is a black man, and people did not believe that his dad was actually black. But on the Breakfast Club, or not the Breakfast Club, but on some interview, he was being interviewed with his father and brother, and when you see those men together, you can tell that they are all related. Logic is just the lightest of them all, but they are all related. You can tell because they look alike, the same skin tone, the same face, the same everything. One is just darker than the other, but you can tell that they are all related. And to me, I can't even see that Logic is fully white because his skin tone, his hair texture, his facial structure, you can tell that he's mixed with black. Now, at times he does look white, but other times I can see that he has something in him. So for people to say, well, Logic looks white, I don't believe it, you're ignorant. You're very ignorant. And I think it's a conditioned response to not want to believe that a biracial person has it hard, because when we look at many biracial people, they're light skinned, they're white passing, they're racially ambiguous, they fit into the status quo of what it means to be a pretty mixed person. So when they want to sit there and talk about, ooh, I'm sorry. When they want to sit there and talk about their experience of being mixed, we don't want to hear it a lot of times. We just want to tune them out. As soon as we see a light-skinned person with 3C hair sit there and say, let me tell you what it's like to be biracial, our brains go, click! Like, we just click off because we don't want to hear it, because we've heard so many mixed people blame black people for anti-blackness, for anti-mixed sentiments. We've heard mixed people sit there and say that we shut them out from the black community. We make it so hard for them to understand their identity. So when we finally have an opportunity to listen to a mixed person talk about their experience, we don't trust that they are going to talk with honesty. But with Logic, I feel he gives an in-depth um, he gives an in-depth insight on what it is like to be biracial, especially a white passing biracial person being raised by a racist mom who is abusive. She has tried to choke him out so many times. He had a really horrible background. And I think a lot of people get this ideal that when we talk about light skin privilege, when we talk about white passing privilege or biracial half white privilege, we mean that they have an easier life than other black people. No, it just means they have an easier time in society. They have an easier time in society versus someone who is brown skinned with a wide nose, who is evidently black, and a woman. They certainly do have an easier time in society, but that doesn't necessarily mean that they have an easy life, because by all means, Logic had a tough life. He did. So no one is taking that away from him. No one is saying that Logic's life is easier because of the fact that he is white passing and that he is half white. But at the same time, we do think that people like Logic have an easier time in society. He has a lot of fans. A lot of his fans are white. And the fact that he is white passing has to do with why he's more acceptable to people. A lot of people don't even know that he is a biracial rapper. He identifies as biracial. And on the blah 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 blah. Damn it. On the Breakfast Club, he basically says that, I identify how I want. I see myself as biracial. I see myself as black. But he tells Charlamagne this. it all depends on how people perceive him. He's like, I know who I am. I know I'm biracial. You know, if people call me black, I don't care. But at the end of the day, when a person comes up to me and thinks, you know, you look white, he understands that. He understands how people perceive him. He's not going to sit there and try to argue with you that, oh, well, actually, he does. He's like, you know, I'm biracial. He explicitly states he's biracial. That's his identity, biracial. He IDs as biracial. But he understands how people perceive him. So, you know, if someone doesn't really want to call him black, he's not going to argue with them. But at the end of the day, he knows who he is. He knows who he is. But I'll be listening to Logic's album, and he'll be saying some stuff that got me like, shut up, Logic. Like on that white people skit, this one person is like, damn, why are white people always investigating shit? And Logic's like, shut up. No, I'm like, no, you shut up, Logic, because you be on that shit too. You be like, oh, I'm colorblind, race doesn't mean a thing. Just stop having people think that you can't do this because you look white, and you know it's ignorant, and let's come together as a race. And I'm just like, God, Logic, why do you have to be so annoying at times? You and your fucking Tarantino loving colorblind self. But I don't think Logic is that bad. I just think that Logic is a little bit problematic because he defended Iggy Azalea and was like, you know, if black men can imitate the ghetto lifestyle and pretend they are from the hood, then why can't Iggy appropriate the fact that she speaks in Southern Ave? I'm thinking like, but at the end of the day, these men are black. Yeah, they're appropriating class. They are doing class appropriation, but you can't compare someone like Drake pretending that he's struggling from the hood to Iggy Azalea, a totally white person, pretending that she is black, or at least infiltrating black culture and imitating Ab. Honestly, had Iggy came in and rapped in her Australian accent and, you know, was really good and talented, I think more people would have respected her. I think if Iggy was just herself, but she's not herself. She's a fraud. So I cannot respect someone who is faking, fronting and faking. But yeah, I feel Logic, and unlike other people, when he's actually talking about his experience, I'm like, okay, you know, I feel you. Okay, okay, because you know I fuck with him, so I'm more willing to listen and see from his side because I kind of understand his character. Same thing with Mariah Carey when she talks about how hard it is to be biracial. She's not going to like sugarcoat it, and she's not going to fucking be like, you know, I was picked on for being biracial and the little girls are jealous of me. No, the bitch is like, you know, being biracial sucks. It sucks. You know, I didn't fit in with anyone. You know, I felt like an outsider. I feel like because I was me, so many girls made fun of me and called me Mirage and all of that. You know, Mariah Carey did not sugarcoat it, but she didn't cry about it. She didn't cry. She didn't try to vilify people. She didn't fault no one. She followed the system. She followed the system. She was like, you know, I know it's hard for people to believe that I was spit on them. I was spit on when I was riding the bus because of being biracial, because of the way I looked. But it is what happens. You know, listen to Mariah Carey actually speak about her experience about being biracial, and it is not pretty. It's not fucking pretty. And I think so many people want to hear what it's like to be biracial in the black community because, you know, they do make up 1% of being in the black community. So we all know what it's like to just be black, but a lot of times we do want to hear from the perspective of someone who is biracial, someone who is mixed, talk about their experience without whining and blaming black people and acting like it's our fault that they have a hard time understanding that they are black. Because honestly, if you want to be black, you would have said that I'm black a long time ago. You know, it's hard to really embrace your identity when you don't quite know how you should identify. I know that very well, but you just have to just settle aside your internalized racism and evaluate who you are as a person. That's all I have to say about this because, you know, we are all conditioned to not really trust people and to think that all of them are trying to invalidate our experiences. But we do need to be more open and try to listen to other people's side, especially if they are POC. but we can call out anti-blackness. If I feel that someone is being anti-black about being biracial, I'm going to call that out, and I have to be careful because a lot of times biracial people do blame black people who aren't biracial for the fact that they don't fit in anywhere. And that's something you should blame on white supremacy because black people cannot oppress biracial people who are half white or half of a race that is anti-black. Because I feel like biracial people can have non-black privilege. I think they have some partial non-black privilege to a black person who isn't mixed because they will always be looked at as a less black person while the person who isn't mixed is looked at as more black. And that's a shame. And I can't say it's anything to brag about because it certainly is not a benefit to be seen as more black as someone. It's not. So when people try to say, I'm not looked at as black enough, that's a little bit of a privilege because you're not getting as much anti-blackness as someone who is seen as more black would. I know you feel like your culture is being stripped away. Halsey feels that, but you know, you should be mindful of your privilege. And I think Logic and Halsey, Mariah Carey, I think they do a good job of talking about it without bordering on offending black people who aren't mixed and making it feel like it's our fault and bringing up colorism by acting like it goes both ways and vilifying dark skinned people. That's how it is with life. We just have to listen to each other and stop shutting people out and thinking, oh, well, you're going to say this. Sometimes you have to listen. And I do. I try so hard to listen to people and to hear their experience of what it is like to be biracial because Jessica Lee did a video a long time ago talking about the experience of being biracial. She had people send in their snaps telling her about how they were biracial, but I did find that a little bit problematic how most of them were light skinned and white passing. I feel like we need to hear more from people who are like my friend Charlie, who is Afro Latino, who is dark skinned, who has nappy hair, a wide nose, and when he tells people his name, they don't believe him. He said that teachers actually think that he is lying when he tells them his full name because they just cannot believe that there is a dark skinned Afro Latino. But remember Celia Cruz. I didn't actually understand the concept of Afro Latinos until I saw Celia Cruz. And I was like, oh my gosh, she looks like me. She looks like my grandma. Oh my gosh, she's like Aretha Franklin. And I felt so